like to introduce Dr. Sumit Arora, who is a sociologist and a development practitioner with more than 13 years of experience and currently working with the Department of Local Government uh, in Punjab. He would be speaking on the role of civil society organizations in preventing non-communicable diseases. Over to you, Dr. Sumit. Best wishes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction and very good afternoon, all the dignitaries. So I'll be talking about the role of civil society organizations in NCD prevention. So basically, we have to understand about the background of the civil society organizations. So they are well known as the non-governmental organizations, and they are involved in different domains that range from health, environment, climate change, education, urban poverty elevation, slums, gender issues, including that of third gender, transgender, issues like social development, human rights, social justice, sustainable development goals, etc. So we have to understand what are the strengths of a civil society organization. So basically, they are, involved in, community mobilization, outreach activities through mapping of available resources, dissemination of information through sensitization and capacity building, convergence with other civil society organizations to cover the diversity of areas, and working with multi-level stakeholders, including that of government. They also try to contribute to putting knowledge and evidence into practice, fundraising and philanthropy, and promoting the spirit of volunteerism. So that is what is the background of a civil society organization. Next, please. So let us all understand about the present situation of this CSOs in India. So, the development as permanent change is possible with changes in socio-economic conditions of the society. That is largely the responsibility of the government. But at the part of non-governmental efforts, the civilians and the citizens can act as makers and agent of social change. So Government of India, they've launched a portal called the NGO Darpan, which is under the Niti Aayog. It started to create the transparency and promote healthy partnership between the civil society organizations and the Government of India. So in order to transact the business with the line ministries and departments, so CSO or NGOs, they have to register first of all at the portal to obtain a UIN number by furnishing the requirements, details like registration number of the organization, permanent account number of the organization, Aadhaar card of the office bearers, trustees, etc. So presently, we have a total of 98,936 civil society organizations that are enrolled with the Niti Aayog. So here I would like to bring into notice that there are lakhs of NGOs, CSOs that are originally registered with the government. But if you see how many of those are, enrolled with Niti Aayog, they are very limited. So it shows, there are like NGOs that are not interested to, reveal about their working conditions and all that. So presently, we have 171 organizations that are from Chandigarh itself and that they are registered with the Niti Aayog. And next, please. So the role of CSOs in NCD movement has been described as weak, and part of that reason that global NCD targets, they have not been met so far. So CSO, they have had influential roles in improving otherwise, global health, particularly in the areas of HIV, AIDS prevention, maternal health, and tobacco control. We all are evidence to the working of the National AIDS Control Organizations. They have evolved, partnership with different NGOs, different organizations to to promote this education of HIV/AIDS. So the role of CSOs in NCD movement is truly a crucial one. So this role ranges from that of watchdog and advocacy to holding the public and private sectors to account. And CSOs, they have expertise and knowledge about best practices and evidence-based policies that would help to address the growing NCD epidemic. Next, please. So, I'll just skip this slide. Next, please. So I would like to talk about our civil society organization, the one that I'm representing. It's an association of professional social workers and development practitioners. And we had this COVID-19 solidarity response relief campaign for 87 days in Chandigarh. So to begin with, we try to evolve partnership with the different non-governmental organizations and corporate social responsibility and visible government organizations. So we were quite fortunate to have received support from the municipal corporation Chandigarh. So during that time, we provided counseling. We went to the slums, the interiors of the slums, and we provided them counseling. They were like migrants also, on their lifestyles. They were like a lot of stress, and majority of them, of course, they use tobacco. They are into the use of liquor also. So we try to provide them counseling, and how they can protect themselves from all the hazards. And yes, of course, there were like some critical cases also. So in order to provide them support, we use this telecounseling and the treatments also from our networks. Next, please. So these are the strengths of the civil society organizations. I need not to discuss it. Next, please. So these are the major challenges, the that are faced by the civil society organizations. First is the lack of funds, and we lack the volunteerism. People, they don't want to volunteer for any civil society organization, especially the youth. You know, so we all know that youth are the future of our country. So in order to have any work done, the involvement of youth is very prerequisite. And yes, of course, there is a problem that there is like misutilization of the funds. So you know this is a big problem for all of us. Next, please. So this is I guess this is the last slide. In order to get these civil society organization involved, so we first of all have to ensure that these organizations, they must be registered with the Niti Aayog. I will just refer to the presentation of Dr. Arpit, who has mentioned the role of civil society organizations and mentioned about two of the organizations. So it becomes crucial to first of all understand that whether they are registered with Niti Aayog or not. Only then we should talk to them, and we should get them involved with our futuristic framework about dissemination of information. And financial grant is a problem. Like majority of the CSOs, NGOs, they want to work only if there are like financial packages available for them. So here, like, we can try to evolve them through some sort of non-financial memorandum of understanding. With it will be absolutely non-financial, and the civil society organizations, they can come up and they can work up voluntarily. And of course, I mean, the empanelment rules are like sometimes very stringent. So as a result, majority of the CSOs, they withdraw their applications, and they try not to get enrolled because because the norms are not favorable to them. Last but not the least is the capacity building, which is the major task that has to be accomplished before putting them on ground. So I would like to mention here that our association has been taking up the task of building capacities and strengthening of institutions also, in various organizations and institutions in the northern part of the country. And I think I'm through with it. I'm right on time. So with these words, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the organizers for this opportunity to discuss our ideas and thoughts about the role of civil society organizations. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sumit Arora. You have touched a very important point and something which will definitely give a huge push to tobacco control and what we have been missing in last decade versus the preceding decade. And I think civil societies definitely need this kind of push for strengthening tobacco control further.